Hey everyone, it's Casey, and today we're back. I've been away for 2 days, and well, 2 shows, which was the Monday and the Friday. So hopefully you guys are doing well. Let me know if you guys can hear me in the chat. It's been a couple days, so I want to make sure everything's still working. Everything's good to go. Awesome. Okay, good. Let's do this. All right. So today we're doing the giveaway. All right. So we're going to do the giveaway, and it's going to be the same thing as was last week. And then next week, we're going to do next Wednesday, we're going to do a cash giveaway. So everybody always loves to get those cash giveaways. Those are always very exciting. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump in. Today, we're going to talk about crypto. We're going to be talking about crypto and Bitcoin. And whatever, all things crypto. So I'll let you guys ask some questions, and I'm going to show you some things and give you a basic rundown, because I know a lot of people have had some interest in that. We haven't got into it yet much on this channel. A lot of people have been saying, hey, we want to trade crypto, we want to trade Bitcoin, and I just want to show you guys how we actually do that. And so one other thing I wanted to mention here is that in the chat, I put the link for the giveaway. I'll let you guys do that right away. You can see there's the link in the chat. Just go ahead and do that. Let me show you what it will look like here in the live chat. All right, so I'm going to pull this up. Make sure you guys can see it. All right, so here it is. This is the link. All you have to do is click the link in the chat. And if we can get up to 20 retweets, we're going to do a giveaway. And so once you get to the link, you'll see it here on Twitter, and you'll click the retweet button. And all you have to do is click retweet. And you can also quote it as well. So there we have it. You can use a quote and tweet. It still counts. But we got to get up to 20 today to get the giveaway. And then next week, we're going to be doing a cash giveaway. So that's one of the things I wanted to mention too, was make sure that you subscribe and like the video so that you will get notified and don't miss out on the cash giveaway. All right. So now what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about crypto and Bitcoin. So I'm going to start by giving a little brief overview on Bitcoin, and I'm going to talk about how we can trade it. Okay, we're going to do a brief overview on Bitcoin and how to trade it. So the first thing about Bitcoin is that it is relatively new currency, right? And now it's not new because it's been around for a while. Bitcoin has been around for several years. Let's see when it actually started here. Bitcoin oh, you know what's crazy? This is absolutely insane. And Bitcoin was created in January of 2009. Now, the reason I find that being very crazy is because that's the exact same time that I launched my trading business. Was in 2009. I launched my first website in January of 2009. Bitcoin and myself launched at the exact same time. And Bitcoin has had quite more attention than I've gotten. But I didn't realize that. So that's pretty cool. Now, so Mickey put a little comment here and says, once you start trading crypto, you'll never go back to stocks. Well, I actually have been trading crypto for a while, and I still do both. So maybe I need to go all in on Bitcoin. And Mickey, you can feel free to help us out with some comments here. So here's some of my key thoughts, and I'm not even going to talk about day trading here right now. I'm going to get into that, but I'm going to talk about some of my key thoughts on benefits of crypto and Bitcoin in specific. So if we look at Bitcoin, there's a couple really key advantages of Bitcoin, a couple really things why it's really powerful and why I think that everybody should be looking at it. And number one is that it has a limit, right? It has a limit, okay? And what that means is you can't create a billion zillion Bitcoins, right? It's a crypto encrypted key, and they have to mine them to create them. And there's a limited number in existence, okay? So the creator said there's a limited number of existence, okay? And so if you can actually see right here on my website down at the bottom here, it says supply limit, right? So there's a supply limit. So it's been in existence for 12 years, and there's a supply limit on Bitcoin, and it's slowly releasing more, and people have to mine it. So when we compare that to the dollar per se, which has no limit, dollars are totally open for everybody. There's no limit on dollars. You can trade as many, they can create as many as they want. And so let's think back a little bit to supply and demand, okay? Now, when you have a limit of something, what does that do to the value? Okay, think this is a law, a natural law, and it actually cannot change, and it is true. And the law says that if something is limited, what does that do to the value? Right? Just think about, when they say that there's we experienced this recently with some of our commodities, just basic goods at the stores, right? If there's a limit, like we look at recently when we had a toilet paper shortage, right? Everybody was going to the store, they're buying tons of it. Now they didn't increase the price, but people could have actually done that at the time because of supply and demand. Another thing that you look at, if you look at oil prices, right? If you look at oil prices, when there's less barrels, the price of oil goes up, right? They tighten up they control oil prices by tightening and releasing of oil. So if there's less oil available, like so when supply starts shutting down, they start limiting it, and then the price goes up. And so that is one benefit to think about when you're thinking about cryptocurrency, is because there's no inflation to worry about because of the limit, right? So when we think of dollars, how do they create dollars? Does anyone know how dollars are created? Well, dollars are created by banks, right? Banks create, the government, the Federal Reserve is in control of it, but banks are the ones that create the dollar. And they just push a button and boom, there's $1 trillion into someone's bank account. Every time you actually take a loan out, a bank is creating that money digitally and giving you that money. So the more loans that are going out, the more money's created. And so when we look at what's recently happened with what they call the PPP, right? The PPP, which was the business loans that got out, they created all of that money by pushing a button, just boom, right? And so as soon as that happened, what happened to the stock market, right? It's not backed by gold, that's right. The stock market went up quite a bit, and it's continued to go up. And why is that? It's partially because of inflation, because there's so many dollars released into the system. it holds up the stock market. If we look at gold, gold, the value of gold hasn't really gone up a lot. I like to trade gold, as some of you guys know. Actually, I'm in a gold trade right now. But gold holds its value really well, okay? And the reason that gold holds up value is because it's limited. Another factor that a lot of people don't put into consideration with Bitcoin to compare it to real money, because they have a hard time wrapping their mind around it. They're saying, well, how can they have Bitcoin because it's not real? You don't see it. Well, the thing about Bitcoin, so let's think about gold, right? And money in general. In order for something to be considered value, it has to have value for another person. And what gives it value? Well, there's faith in the dollar, like Chris says. We have faith in the dollar. So because we have faith in it, it holds its value. But what happens is, over time, as it gets released, the faith gets less and less, and people get more of it. The supply and demand goes up. So here's one thing to think about. In order for money to really work, someone has to have value to it. And what causes value? Well, one of the things that really adds a lot of value is labor. Our time is valuable. It's the most valuable resource that we have. So time is really important, a really important component of this. If something takes our time, then that's attached to a really large value, right? And so another thing that's value is effort and labor and the money that it costs to create, right? Can we create it for free? Think about gold. In order to get gold, you got to go out and buy a piece of property. You have to go out and dig it up. You have to buy expensive equipment, big dump trucks and excavators, and they blow it up with dynamite, then they process it, right? So there's a ton of money and effort that it takes to create gold, right? You have to refine it. There's so much involved in it. It's not just this tiny little process. It's a very large ordeal to create gold. Well, Bitcoin is the same way, right? Bitcoin, it's limited like gold, and Bitcoin costs a lot of work. You don't just push a button. You have to get these massive supercomputers to create it. They run complex algorithms and complex codes, and so therefore it takes a lot of effort to create. And every time it creates a new Bitcoin, it takes more and more work, right? So there's people that have bought massive warehouses, so they have to buy land, right? Just like with gold, or rent land, they're paying for land. They have to buy all of the supercomputers. They have to set up the supercomputers. It takes all the labor. And then they also have to pay for the energy. These things have fans, and they're air conditioned, and they're paying for the expensive video cards. They have to pay for the energy, the electric bills. And so it's really expensive to create Bitcoins. And as the Bitcoin goes up in value, it makes it worth it for them. But when Bitcoin drops, like recently last year, it was trading at like 4,000. Well, the Bitcoin miners were getting less and less because of the expense, right? And it gets harder and harder. So this is just a basic overview, right? And so here's another really big advantage for Bitcoin, okay? And it's a person-to-person finance transfer, okay? It's not great for stores. It's not great for going out and buying your credit card, okay? But it's really useful for person-to-person transfer, because if you've ever had to give somebody money, it's very difficult. Right now, there's some apps out there that make it easier now, like Cash App and things like that. But it's still, even then, sometimes there's some hangups. There's some drawbacks, right? And like there's some challenges. But with Bitcoin, every single person has something called a wallet address, right? You have a wallet address, and when you access your wallet, you send that address to someone else, right? And then they can send you the money they send you the money to that address, or they send you the Bitcoin, right? And that's just how it works. And so it happens really fast. It happens really fast. There's a person-to-person transfer. So that's a big benefit, because nowadays it's challenging to do that kind of a transfer. So so some of the drawbacks to crypto. What's some of the drawbacks for cryptocurrency, and what are some of the challenges that could come our way? Well, one of the challenges is that crypto has some Federal Reserve challenges and some banking challenges and some government challenges, right? So the head of Chase, Jamie Dimon, he said that Bitcoin is only for criminals and people like that. Right? Banks hate crypto because why? Because it's different and it's encroaching on their territory. Governments hate it because they can't control it. Governments, so they paint it with really dark, and they say that it's evil because it's a free market, right? The individual people really like it because it's a free market, but the banks and the governments don't like it because they can't control it. They can't see what's going on. And so that actually creates it as a risk. So a lot of people like myself, I was very bullish on Bitcoin for a long time, and I've loved it. You know, another great thing about Bitcoin is transferring your money, right? You can cross the border with a key. Some of the people can memorize that key, and you could have $1 billion in Bitcoin, and you could go from the United States to Mexico, or the United States to China, or whatever, and you memorize that key in your head. And you can keep that money with you wherever you go, right? You don't need a USB coin. You don't need anything, right? You just have that code. And so, you know, right now, oh, you have to transfer money over. They make you declare it. They search you, you're a criminal. If you carry $10,000 from one country to another, they actually assume you're a criminal and they can confiscate your money. I mean, there's just a lot of risk involved, right? But if you have a code that you memorize in your head, right, that's pretty powerful thing, and gives a lot of power to individuals. And the government doesn't like that, right? And so there's a challenge, right? So the government wants to control it, and so they might even shut it down. I can't really see them doing that, but it does pose a risk, right? So I'm just talking about the benefits and the risks, right? I really like the benefits of it. And another drawback is that it's not really easy to use with credit cards and things like that. That's a big challenge, you know, for transferring, for actually spending, but it's not really being used that way right now. That could change as time goes on, but right now it's more of like an investment. People are looking at it like gold, and they're like, oh, okay, this is a great place to put my money. And you can see, well, it's an open network. Everything can be seen on the blockchain, but it doesn't always show your identity, right? So you can see all the transactions, but they can't see who does it. Okay, because that is still secure. Privacy. So that's another big benefit, was privacy. Everyone can see the transparency is there because they can see the transactions, but they can't see who made those transactions. All right. So that's the basic rundown of just what Bitcoin is. And I'm going to show you a way that you can trade it if you're interested. So let me pull up a platform here and see if you guys can see my screen. This is called Binance. And if you guys are interested in that, there's a link here, and you can open up an account at Binance. And this will allow you to buy and sell Bitcoin. And so you can use this chart just like a regular chart, right? And so we can make it full screen, and you can mess with your indicators, and you can run your exact same trading strategy. So I like to put the 50-period moving average on here, Okay, and then let's edit some of the other ones here. So this is let's go with a 200 period, and I can also put a 100. Okay, so I've got all my moving averages, and this is a 15-minute time frame. And so with Bitcoin, a really good strategy for Bitcoin is, especially right now, because Bitcoin is Bitcoin's trending up, right? So a great way to trade this is to go to an hourly chart and then just look for pullbacks. Okay, you look for pullbacks and you wait for price to start to break up above the 50-period moving average. So right now, this purple line is the 50-period, and you can just watch. If you go back, you can watch for pullbacks, and then when it breaks out, there's been some very big moves. Like right here at 48,000, it went from 48 all the way to a new all-time high at 61,000. So the great thing about trading, a couple big benefits about trading Bitcoin, is that yeah, you can get 0.001%. Chris is like, you can get 0.001 Bitcoin for $100. Yeah, that's exactly right. So so that's a great way to trade it. So I've been doing that, and I have another way that we can do Bitcoin is just to buy and hold. And I'm going to talk next week, or no, tomorrow, Friday. I'm going to talk Friday about a really good Bitcoin strategy. This is the day trading strategy, but Friday I'm going to have a great strategy that I think everyone's going to love. So I want you guys to really focus in on that later. So you're going to love the strategy I give you on Friday. But another way to do it is just to add money into the account. So some of you may know that I really like to focus on consistency and compounding. And one of the things that works really well is to compound your money by continually doing an investment, right? Like kind of like a buy and hold, but you just put in $50 a week or $50 a month, dollar cost average, right? And so let's go back to a longer time frame, and you can see that you see this epic move here. There was over the last, in 2020, when it was at 6,000 and so, I was putting some dollar cost averaging, and every time I get a chance, I would add some money in, add some money in, add some money in. And that worked really good, because then it exploded, and now everybody's talking about it. And now it doesn't, that still works. It's still a good strategy, but it's good to really do it before the big move. But even now you could still do that, and I'm still doing that. I'm still adding in whenever I get a chance. But the return on this has been just tremendous. And right now, we just recently hit 61,000 last week. We're still, let me just do a little analysis on this. We're still in a pretty strong uptrend. So, and I don't use these charts much, so there's a lot of, there's a lot of stuff that I don't know how to do on these charts. So, like do trend lines. I think that you can do them, but I don't know how yet. But right now with this, you can see we have a support level at 41,000. And what happened? It went right back to 42, didn't quite hit it, and then it took off. And so now we have some resistance up at 58 right over here. You see 58. And we also have the 61,000 is our current resistance. So right now we are headed down. So if we look at a daily, we're headed down, and we have a little bit of support right here at 53,000. So we have a pin bar showing, and we have support. So that's pretty good. The way I would be looking at this is, let's go to a 4 hour, is I'd be watching this and watch for this to break back above this 50 period moving average. This is the 50 period, this purple line. And so right now, this could continue to drop lower, but we have a double bottom forming. We have a double bottom right here. You see there's a lot of support here. We have a double bottom, and we have the price starting to bounce, right? And volume is dropping, which can be a good thing, okay? Volume dropping can be good because that means consolidation. And when consolidation happens, it means it's building up a base of buyers. It's building up a base of buyers, and that's a great way to trade, is to build up those buyers, right? And to really get those buyers on board. And then when people start to see it move, they're like, oh man, we're missing out. And then everybody jumps in, and then that's what pushes the price higher. And so right now, Bitcoin is a type of move where every time it pulls back, it's just going up. And it's been like that for a long time. So it's been a very good strategy to trade, very similar to the S&P 500 in some respects, because if you look, it's just been going up and up and up. And so one of the ways that I like to trade is that you find a really big move, and you just grab it, and you just keep adding in. You keep adding in. Every time that it makes a pullback, you add. You take your profit when you get a chance. You just keep doing that over and over and over again, and you keep trading it until it stops working. And then eventually you're going to see a downtrend happen. And one of the things that we'd look for is, you can see this is a pretty solid trend line. I can't draw a trend line on here, but what's this do? But you can use this 200 period MA as a trend line, and that's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid way to trade. So right now we're pulling right back into the trend line. This is kind of an exciting place to take the trade. And so the way that this platform works, if you haven't opened up an account here yet, I put a link in that you can do that. But the way it works is it's pretty much like regular trading. You just click buy. And this here is Bitcoin / USDT. So it works kind of like a currency where it's Bitcoin versus the dollar. And the USDT is the dollar, really. It's USD Tether, which is basically the dollar. It's pegged to the dollar, so so you can see the value here. So that's where you get the price. You can trade all of the different cryptos in here. You just type them in up here, and you can select them. There's a ton to choose from. Here's Doge. So here's Dogecoin. Doge is trading at 0.0001 right now. Oh, that's Doge Bitcoin. You can change it to Doge USD if you want. But you can see actually Doge has gone up versus Bitcoin. Let's go back to USD. Let's look at Ethereum. You can choose ETH Bitcoin, ETH USD. So ETH Bitcoin. And so ETH Bitcoin has been, one Bitcoin is worth 0.0046 ETH. And actually it's on an uptrend. Let's see, what's my time frame here? Actually, ETH has been on an uptrend compared to Bitcoin. So that's pretty interesting. Let's take a look at USD. Let's take a look at ETH USD. So ETH USD is another one that's been really on fire. It's gone up to 2,000. And so if you like to average in on a lower one, ETH is that one, and it's moved pretty nicely. It's moved pretty well. And so that's pretty solid. So when we're trading this, you can trade this just like you trade anything. You can trade on a lower time frame. You just change the time frames here, 15-minute. And so right now on an ETH USD, this is a current downtrend, but what I would be watching for is for a breakout right here. If this thing breaks above all these moving averages and breaks this trend line, this is a solid buy. right? Very solid trade, and really would be interested in buying right here. So I'll be patient on this, but I would be waiting for it, and we can take a look at that particular setup. So let's go back now and talk about that giveaway again, because I want to see where we're at. I'm going to click the link here. We're going to do the giveaway. All right, so we need to get some more retweets to get in here. Mickey, thanks for entering. I appreciate it. So we need to get up to 20 retweets right now. And so go ahead and enter in. We have 47 people live right now. And so if everybody entered, we'd easily get the 20. So all you have to do is click this button to retweet, and we will jump right in and get a giveaway. Oh, and let me actually show you what we're giving away here. This is a tool that I created. It's a trading strategy course, and this works on crypto. By the way, we're talking about crypto, but it also works on stocks and crypto and currencies. And so it's a really detailed strategy that I go into a lot of detail, and I show a lot of the trades that I get in. Really solid strategy. And I created it so that very simple, so that anyone could follow it. So what you're entering to win is access to this, and I sell it for $97 for a limited time. We are going to go up in a little bit and raise the price on it, but we've just been getting tons of great feedback. It's really been a game changer for a lot of people, and people have been really loving this. So that's what you're going to enter to win. It could help you really get your base on here as well. So I got a good question here. We'll go back to the crypto for a minute. I got a really good question from Hilke. He says, crypto also possible to scalp? Yes, it is possible. You can drop down to a 1-minute time frame, and you can trade this over and over again. Now, one of the things that I like about crypto too is that it's more like trading a stock versus a currency. One of the biggest risks of trading currency and gold is the leverage, right? And until you can learn how to manage that leverage, it's a big challenge with your trading. And so with crypto, you can leverage, but I don't. I like to just hold the crypto itself, right? And it moves so much that it can make you good money without even having to leverage. And so you can buy a very small amount of Bitcoin, right? You buy 0.01 Bitcoin, and that 0.01 up can go up $30, right? So you can make like a 30% gain on your investment really quick by trading over and over again. So yes, you can definitely scalp this. You can buy it on breakouts and get out and trade it over and over again. And some people have found, though, with these cryptos, they move up so much that you just do better basically by buying and holding. And so it's kind of up to you on how you want to do it. But like I always say on everything, you want to make sure that you're managing your risk, following your trading plan, and doing exactly what it is that you need to do to be successful. And it's by monitoring, managing, and just really following your plan. That's a really important guideline that I want to really let everybody know. But yes, you can definitely do this. You can definitely scalp it and make some big moves. This is ETH USD, right? So ETH USD is 1,765. Okay, so let's just say we buy 1 ETH, right? $1,700. Now the cool thing is the risk is really safe, but the way I like to trade breakout. So I'd put my trend line maybe right here. I might get in at 1749. I buy 1 ETH. It went up all the way up to 1777. So I just made $30 by trading 1 ETH, right? $30. And what's that on the risk? That's a very tight risk, not a lot of risk. Let's get a calculator up. So if you have 1 ETH and it's valued at 1746 times 0.01, so 1% is $17, right? And so that went up about 2%. It took a 2% move in a matter of minutes, from 147 up to so $40 would be 2%. Yeah, it was just about a 2% move in just minutes. And so if you make 1% and then you make another 1% and then you make another 1%, you make 3% a day and you slowly scale that. Remember when we talk about our daily challenge, make $100 a day and just work on that slowly and then get to 150 a day. Well, with this, you could probably scalp ETH. You could buy 1 ETH and scalp that over and over and over again and make your $100 a day with like 4 or 5 trades, right? Now, you got to catch it at the right time and you got to have a good strategy and all of that. But so this would definitely work. Would definitely work. So let me go ahead and now take a look at some stock market stuff. Take a look at the stock market and well, because the market just opened, I want to go over some of my trades there. Give me a second while I pull up my platform. I haven't, I've been away for a little bit, so I got to log in. All right, so we take a look here. Here's the SPY, and it just crossed up above a new all-time high this week, which is pretty interesting considering we were down for 2 weeks in a row, or 3 weeks in a row, and made a really strong comeback last week. And this week we might be topping out. And so if this week closes below here, that would be a double top, right? And the double top would be lower, and we'd probably be looking to try to get down to this 364. So everybody's bullish right now. So we'll see if that bullishness continues. But right now we've been down since Tuesday and today. We'll see what happens at this level. We might get a bounce and pop back up. It's still too early to say what's going to happen on a weekly chart. Let's take a look at REGN. REGN. This was a trade that I had taken 3 weeks ago. And you can see I entered it on the break at 448. And right now we're moving up pretty nicely. We're at 485. Let's take a look at it on the daily time frame. Today opened up higher and then it's moving lower. But I'm looking for a target up into this area. I got in at around the 460 area. So it's a pretty solid setup. For those of you guys that remembered when I did that a little while ago. Today we've made some good movement. Let's take a look at CRM. So this is another one that I've been watching. I got in last time down here and it went all the way up to 250, and I'm waiting for another bounce to happen. This is a weekly chart. Let's look at a daily. So right now we're in a consolidation phase. We've got a resistance point right here that we'll be watching. But if we get a break above, I'm going to get back into this one. The last one was a pretty solid move. Looking to get back in again on this. But I like to watch for a weekly chart just to see if we can get a really solid bounce. All right. So with that being said, let's go ahead now and jump back over to the giveaway. I think that could generate some interest here. We still need quite a few more to get there, but you guys are doing great. So just keep working on getting those retweets. If we get everybody that's watching to retweet, we get a really good giveaway. And we'll just pick somebody. The way we pick them is we'll click all the retweets. When you click this, it shows the retweets. It shows everybody that did it. And so mine doesn't count, but we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 people. We need 13 more. So you guys can do it. Go ahead and just click that retweet and enter into the competition to get access to the course. The last giveaway person really enjoyed the course and got quite a bit out of it. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do a couple, do some more analysis here. One of the trades I was looking at, which was KO. Let's look at KO. All right, now KO, this is a weekly chart. Okay, and I had made quite a bit of interest on this for resistance on this level. Okay, so we have this 52 level. You see how strong this is? It's support, support, support. It broke down hard right here, and then it broke it, but it couldn't quite do it. Took it down, and then now this 52 level is holding tight. So let's look at it. This is a weekly. So we had a strong pin bar and a drop, but let's look at it now. Now it's coming back up here, but I'm thinking that it's not going to take the move. And so how will I trade this? I'm not quite ready to trade it yet, but I'm looking at a possible entry short right here. And so if we break this trend line to the downside, about 49, let's go back to a weekly. My target would be down here at 43. So it would be from about 50. If we get in at 49.50, it'd be right here. So I'm currently just watching this for a short, to see what we get. Now let's look at it on an hourly. Hourly, it spiked up here earlier and got rejected hard. You see that powerful rejection? And now we kind of have a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern. We got a shoulder right here, the head, kind of a double shoulder. There's a shoulder here and here on the hourly. And so even if this hourly rolls over, I would be looking at shorting this. And so one of the things is I don't really short too much. So the way that I'd short this is I'll go to the options and I will look at a weekly chart. Let me go show you how I come up with the target here. I go to a weekly chart. And Chris, you did it. Good job, buddy. Good job. You go to a weekly chart and I'm like, okay, how many weeks do I think it'll take to get to my target, right? And so the last time it did this, it went from 43 up to 51. It moved really pretty quick, but it took some time. You know, these are weeks here. So this would be the target. So we go back and say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 weeks is 2 months. So you want to give it some time on this option. Now, will I hold it for the entire 2 months? No, because if it spikes up here, I might get a really nice ROI and get out, right? Because in options, if you're up, you take your money and run. And so I probably wouldn't have held that long, but I want to give myself enough time. So I'd say we go out at least 2 months. So now I'll go to the options, okay, and I'll look out for 2 months. So here we have 44 days, and then we have 65. So I'm going to look at options. And the way to get short is to buy puts, right? So this, you go right here. This is the strike price. It's $1.33 for the put at $50. So that means that I'm expecting it to go down. You notice the lower it goes, the higher this goes up. So as the price goes lower, the put increases in value. And so that's a way to short without actually, that's great, man. Thank you so much for that. That's really good news. I'm talking. So Helke said they tried out our strike alert service and it has enjoyed it. And so I appreciate that so much. I appreciate your comment. And, you know, feedback is really what we're looking for. We love to get feedback from everyone. And we're here to help. So if you get the positive feedback, let us know. And if you get the negative feedback, let us know as well. We want to hear from everyone. We want to know that people are getting a lot out of it. Okay. So with that being said, let's take a look now at, so that's what I'm looking at, right? I'm really looking at that. So I already did well with my other symbol on the REGN. Now I'm looking for this one to do well also. So let's go ahead and take a look at some currency stuff. And let's pull up some charts here. I'm currently, I got a gold trade on. I told you guys I like to do that. I took a gold trade off of the bounce off of this level right here. And there was a breakout and I almost hit my target. Now we're coming back down. So I'm going to be watching this trade, but let's do a daily analysis on this. I'll show you guys what I was looking at on the daily. So let me clear this out. It's hard to see with all this junk on it. Let's close this. Objects. Okay. All right. So here's what I was looking at on this gold trade is that we have a current downward trend line right here. But we also broke this level here. And you notice that it broke this trend wall. And then it went right back down, and now we're kind of in a no man's land here. Not a no man's land, but a consolidation, which is pretty useful for taking scalps. When you're in a consolidation, it can be really good. And so with that being said, the MACD is getting lower, and we had a nice daily here. And so let's look at a long term. We're in a very strong uptrend. And it was funny because for those of you that were here last week, I was talking about this bounce, and somebody was telling me that gold was going to get wrecked, and they're not here now. People that always say stuff like that have a tendency to disappear later. But it bounced nicely off of this level. We had a really strong bullish candle. I was looking at this channel and just how solid this was. And I have some really solid support all the way over here too. So you can see support was hit, and then it was right here. Now, I'm not saying it's not going to come back down. It very well could. But right now, we're looking at, I was just looking at it for to continue up into this channel. We do have some resistance right here that will be really important. Right here is 1759 is where the resistance is. Okay, now let's go ahead and jump over back to the giveaway, and then I'm going to do the euro dollar. So here's the giveaway. We're going to click this. So right now we're still, it's people don't want to enter, it looks like. So we'll be working on the prize for next week. Appreciate your comment there, Mickey. Peter, appreciate your comment. And he said it was offensive, but that really wasn't offensive. So thank you guys for participating. We need a bunch more, though, to get the giveaway to kick off. All right, so now let's go back to, so that's really what I'm looking at. We got a big uptrend on gold, and we're just basing here. And so I'm looking for some bullishness to continue. You can see the MACD starting to drop. The last time that happened, you can see we had a big move up. And so this is all about timing. And so when I get down to lower time frames, I like to watch for the MACD to go negative and then to go back up. And so right now the MACD is just negative, looking for this to get a bust to the upside here. Maybe a little bit deeper pullback, we'll see, but I like to take this one. All right, so with that being said, let's go look at the euro dollar. All right. Actually, let's use this one. All right, so we got the euro dollar. All right, the euro dollar. Okay, so euro is in an uptrend, right? It's in an uptrend right now. We can see that the trend is pretty strong. However, what just happened? The uptrend on the daily with this big trend line got violated. And so now the 200 period moving average, or the 50 period, is pointing down and the 200 is moving up. So we're in between. And so right now we're in a bull flag, or it's either a bull flag, which is this. You see this? This is the flag, or a wedge. So if I drop this, put that right here, you can see we have a wedge happening with this straight line and then that. So basically, for this uptrend to continue, we need this trend line to break onto the upside, and it needs to move back up to these new highs. So right now we're currently at we're headed back to the support. We've got the 200 period moving average is support that we're watching. And if we look at this on a lower time frame, you can see we have a pretty good trend line right here that's developed. The MACD is currently negative, and we have this happening here. So we could try to grab this. If this breaks to the upside here, we could grab this and head to this target. So this would be a pretty nice risk to reward, 140 pips to the top. And our stop would be down here, which is about 112 to the bottom. And so Mickey's given us some. Mickey, I thank you so much for the, it's not hard. You just click a button. But what happens is a lot of people aren't on Twitter. And so I'm trying to get some people on Twitter that are also watching this show. So if we get this break, guys, this could be really solid. So again, just be patient with it and wait for the break to actually happen before getting into the trade. And, you know, on the downward side, I think that there's a lot of support down here. And I think that it will get some bounces. But if we look at some possible support levels, there is a level right here that's pretty powerful. Right? So if it does break out of here, I think 116 is a great place to start looking for longs again. So you could sell it on a breakout. We look at an hourly time frame. You know, if you think that it's going to bounce off of this trend line and go lower, you could try to short it. And we have some good distance to the 16. I personally wouldn't do that just because I like to wait for the MACD to line up with the trend line break. So I'd rather see, what I like to see is the trend line break here and the MACD break at the same time. And when I see that, I really like that trade. For example, here was the last long I took on the euro. Okay, it looks like I took one here. But I took one right here also. And you'll notice that the MACD was getting tight and the trend line break happened right around the same time, and it ended up being a pretty solid 120 pip move. And so that's what I prefer. And so right now it's really setting up. If it breaks this to the long side and does the trend line break at the same time, I think that's a really solid move to the upside. So with that being said, let's go back to the Twitter here and see where we're at. Let me refresh it just to make sure. Okay, well, Mickey, I really appreciate your motivation. It looks like we're not going to get there today. That's okay. It's my first day back for a while. I took 2 days off. By the way, I was in Florida. I'm from Pennsylvania, so it was great to get into that heat. Went with my family. We had a great time. It was a lot of fun. It's good to get away and just to have some fun, right? So I feel recharged and ready to go and looking forward to some really good stuff. So with that, I'm going to sign off for now, and we'll see you guys next week. But make sure that you're hitting the subscribe button. Make sure that you're hitting that subscribe button so that you guys can get updated next week on the giveaway. And also on Friday, I got a really good crypto training that I'm going to do. And so I want to just thank everybody that has liked and subscribed, but make sure you hit that subscribe and the notification so that you guys can get access to the next trade updates and things like that I'm doing. All right. Well, we'll see you guys soon. And thanks a lot.